everybody, Kevin here. Welcome to the Claremont Classic Garage. Today we're going to continue on with our McKee Snowblower overhaul. We've got all the paintwork done on this and we can finally start putting it back together. What we're going to concentrate on today is getting the main shaft and the impeller and the gearbox put together. And then step 2 will be the cross shaft and the chain drive, and we'll get the auger back in it. Then the third step, we'll put the 3-point hitch hookups on it and get the chute and the rotating hardware and everything like that all put back on. And then we'll be ready to put it back in use next winter maybe. There's step 1. We've got the gear case bolted to the housing, and now we're going to install the inner bearing. It turns out I got the wrong bearings for the main shaft. What do you know? So I could go out and get them tomorrow morning. In the meantime, it appears that it makes more sense to put the cross shaft in first anyway, so I'm going to put that in now. Cross shaft is mounted in with new bearings. At this end, I've got the lock collar and the gear just sitting loose on the shaft. We'll have to tighten that all up once we get our final, we got to set the gear lash and everything once we get the main shaft in. But at least we've got an idea now where everything's going to sit. Now I'm going to install our new idler sprocket. This comes with a 5/8 bore in the bushing. We use a 1/2-inch bolt. So they give you a 5/8 to half bushing that you can push in there if you need it. We need it, so we're going to push it in. That's better. Now we can go ahead and install it. There's our new idler installed. Nice and quiet. This is nice and quiet. This is great. This thing's going to run nice. Well, popped into TSC this morning and thankfully they had the right bearings so we could carry on putting this main shaft in. We've got the inner bearing or the rear bearing in. So now we're going to install the drive shaft. We'll just push that all the way through and then tap it back as need be. We have to get another gear in there and another bearing, and then we'll get it located this way, fore and aft or axially, so we can get all our proper clearances for everything. It's pushed all the way through. Now I'm going to lower our gear into place here and slowly start pushing it back. I've also installed the lock collar. Originally how this was set up, this outer bearing or front bearing was on the inside of this cage. I am going to try putting it on the outside. It certainly would make things a lot easier for me. And I think I've got the room for it, so that's what we're going to do. All right, I've got this mostly, the shaft can probably go back that way a little bit once I'm done. But right now what I have to do, this is supposed to have a 1.5-inch long 1/4-inch keyway in it, which was missing when we took this apart. That's why the auger wasn't working. So I'm going to cut a piece of key stock now, and we'll fit our key in there and get this gear cinched onto the shaft. There we go. One thing I learned, if you're going to hack around with this junk, go to Fastenal or Princess Auto or any place you can, and always keep a few lengths of key stock on hand. 1/4 seems to be pretty popular. That's the one I use the most. I just open up my little drawer and cut off what I need. So, we've got our transmission or gear case put back together. Now what we got to do is get the shaft positioned axially so that we can install the impeller and it'll have clearance behind it. See these bolt heads here? and that we've got enough room to get our drive shaft on. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the drive shaft on and make sure that I've got enough room for it where we stand. So you can see we've got plenty of room there. Now we're going to measure and see what we need for the impeller. So it looks like we could knock the shaft in about 1/2 inch, which is just fine. We've got almost 1 inch here, so that'll be perfect. That's super. So we're going to go ahead now and install the impeller. I'm going to put a piece of 1/2 inch threaded rod in the end of it and draw it on with a nut. There we are, the impeller is in. It went right on. Perfect. Now we're going to go, I have to put a bolt in there and get it torqued down, and then we can go around on the back side and start setting all the bearings and gears. You can hear the gears are a little noisy right now. They need to be loosened up just a hair, and we should be in good shape. Now we're going to go ahead and lock down this bearing and this bearing. I can't lock down the ones on the cross shaft yet until we put the auger in, because I need to get this sprocket where it needs to be. So these are quite interesting how you set them. On first glance, you would think you just tighten the set screw and let it be, but that's not quite how they work. Here's an old one here. If you look, they're ground on an eccentric. You can see here the sleeve is thicker on this side than that side. Well, the locking sleeve is the same. So you put these together, and then, where is it? Oh, here it is. Using this is actually for a punch. And you drive the thing around until the eccentrics go up each other and lock the thing to the shaft. Then you tighten the set screw. So we're going to do that to these two bearings right now. Now I'm just going to give this gear a smack with a piece of brass to make sure it's right back seated against this lock collar, and we'll tighten the two set screws on the gear. That's perfect. Now we can go ahead and put in the auger. We've got the ends, the pilots on the ends of the auger where the bearings go, cleaned up. And on this end, we have to install the drive sprocket. It goes on, it's got these little spacers that go in between, so we'll do that now. Now, while I'm working on my tractor, I'm also looking after this little chickadee. He gave himself a little jolt flying into a window, so I got him in this box of paper shredding for now, and we're just going to let him stay in there for a little bit, and hopefully he'll be okay. The auger is installed. We've got the bearings. The bearing retainers are tightened up, so all we have to do now is turn the eccentrics, get them tight, and tighten the set screws. All done in here. Auger turns nice, beautiful, free, quiet. So now we're going to start getting all these sprockets lined up. And then we can put the chain on. While I was working away, the chickadee I found outside was resting in this box. I guess after half an hour or so, I went outside, opened up the box, and he flew away quite happily. So that's good. He seemed to be feeling better. The gears are all nicely aligned now. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten down this lock collar. Then we'll get all the stuff in here tightened down. Everything in there is tightened and retightened. So now we can turn our attention to the drive chain. Alright, so I don't have a chain buster, so we're going to grind the head off of that and knock that pin out, and that'll give us the correct length of chain that we need. Got our chain cut and ready to go on. As an added bonus, there was, I used just under half of it, so I've actually got enough here to make the chain again if I ever need it, so we'll just put that on the shelf and save it for a rainy day. Chain's on. Now we'll adjust the idler. Now I've installed the chain guard. The last thing I'm going to do is paint a little axle grease on the teeth of these gears. I don't know if it'll do anything, but it can't hurt. And then we'll put the gear case cover on. That was a pretty busy day. We had our hiccup yesterday with the bearings, but we got that sorted out, and it all had a happy ending. So basically, we've got all the rotating parts, all the actual things that make it blow snow installed and buttoned up. Now what we're going to do on our next day, we're going to put on the chute and the arms for the frame and the crank and everything for the rotator and a few more little bits and pieces. And then that'll be it. It'll be done, ready to put back to work. Pretty good. It's really looking snazzy now. I kind of like it. Anyway, so I guess that's going to wrap it up for this little episode. I hope you'll come back. And until then, this is Kevin checking out from the Claremont Classic Garage. Thanks and so long.